life, many of us silently seek attention. We want to be seen, heard, and valued, but chasing attention often leaves us feeling empty. There's a peaceful path that teaches us not to beg for approval but to grow from within. These timeless teachings guide us to become strong, kind, and centered. Today, let us explore powerful life lessons that can help you stop begging for attention and start living with purpose and dignity. Lesson 1. Improve yourself. The need for attention fades when you begin to improve yourself. Growth becomes your focus. When your energy turns inward, you stop looking outside for validation. You start to build something greater within. This shift is powerful. You're no longer seeking praise. You're working on becoming your best self. That changes everything. One of the oldest spiritual teachings says, if you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. But you must first have that light within. Self-improvement is the source of that light. Improve your mind through learning. Strengthen your body through healthy living. Nurture your spirit through stillness and reflection. These simple actions elevate your inner peace. You start becoming calm, collected, and clear. When you improve yourself, you no longer compete. You collaborate with life. You no longer chase. You attract. People notice your calmness, your strength, your discipline. That's how real attention works. It comes naturally. No begging, no pretending, just you showing up as your best version. You also learn to appreciate solitude. You are not afraid of being alone anymore because you've built a meaningful relationship with yourself. You find peace in your own company. You enjoy learning something new. You love the quiet moments of reflection. That's where real growth happens. You become more aware of your thoughts, more in control of your actions. You no longer react emotionally to things that once upset you. You handle life with grace. That's a sign of true progress. So improve yourself, not to impress, but to express your true potential. Don't chase validation. Instead, focus on becoming someone who doesn't need it. Let your life be your message. When you grow, the world sees you, not because you begged for attention, but because you became someone worth noticing. Lesson 2. Pursue your passions. When you follow what lights up your soul, you stop begging others to notice you. Your energy becomes focused and alive. Passion is powerful. It draws attention without trying. But more importantly, it fills you with joy from the inside out. There's a deep teaching that says joy is found not by clinging to the world, but by flowing with it. When you pursue your passions, you stop clinging to people's opinions. You begin to live in flow with your true nature, with your calling, with life itself. This brings you peace. This brings you purpose. So ask yourself, what makes you come alive? What activity makes you forget time? What would you do even if no one clapped for you? That's your passion. That's your inner fire. Chase that, give it time, give it attention. It will give you everything you need. You see, when you do what you love, your energy changes. You smile more. You speak with clarity. You walk with confidence. That attracts people who are aligned with you. You don't need to ask them to see you. They will feel your passion. That is more powerful than words. You also stop comparing yourself. Passion creates its own path. You no longer measure your life against others. You stop waiting for permission. You begin to create. That's what passion does. It turns you into a creator, not a beggar. It helps you build something meaningful. And when challenges come, and they will, your passion keeps you going. Because you're not doing it for attention. You're doing it for something deeper, something real. That's what makes it last. So stop chasing approval. Start chasing what you love. Make time for it every day, even if it's just a few minutes. Watch how your life transforms. Passion doesn't just attract attention, it transforms your soul. Let that be your path. Lesson 3. Offer real value. When you focus on giving instead of getting, everything changes. Instead of asking for attention, ask yourself, how can I help? How can I bring value into this moment, into someone's life? This shift is powerful. It makes you needed, not needy. There's a timeless lesson that teaches us give, without expecting anything in return. When you live by this, you become a source of light. People are drawn to you, Not because you ask for it, but because you bring something meaningful. Offering value doesn't always mean big things. It can be kindness in your words, presence in your listening, care in your actions, help in someone's moment of need. Every day gives you a chance to contribute, to uplift, to serve. When you give from the heart, you stop worrying about being seen. You're too busy making a difference. You become known not for your noise, but for your presence. Not for asking, but for giving. And here's the beauty. Real value returns. Not always in the way you expect, but always in the way you need. Maybe it comes back as respect, or peace, or new opportunities. But it always comes. That's the law of life. So instead of begging for someone's time, offer them your attention. Instead of chasing compliments, give encouragement. Instead of feeling invisible, become someone others can count on. This doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It means becoming someone who lives with intention. People remember how you make them feel. Leave them better than you found them. Share what you know, give what you can. Add value wherever you go. And most importantly, do it from a place of fullness, not emptiness. When you give from fullness, you never run out. The more you give, the more you grow. That's the magic. So stop seeking to be seen. Start seeking to serve. That's where your real power lives. Lesson 4. Respect yourself, always. One of the most important lessons is this. Never let your desire for attention cost you your self-respect. Once lost, it's hard to regain. But when you respect yourself, others are more likely to do the same. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. Respect starts inside. It's the quiet choice to walk away from what harms you. It's the decision to not explain yourself to people who don't listen. It's the strength to say no when something doesn't feel right. When you beg for attention, you often lower your standards. You tolerate disrespect. You accept crumbs, all for the sake of being noticed. That's not respect. That's desperation. And desperation pushes the right people away. But when you respect yourself, you create space for the right energy to find you. You move with dignity. You speak with calm strength. You make decisions based on truth, not fear. That's power. That's confidence. That's freedom. There is a deep teaching that says peace comes when you stop pleasing others and start honoring yourself. That doesn't mean being selfish. It means being self-aware. You know who you are. You know what matters to you. You don't need to perform. You just need to be real. Respect also means forgiving yourself, not carrying guilt, not living in the past. It means holding yourself with compassion, speaking kindly to yourself, taking care of your needs, setting healthy limits. This is not pride. It's wisdom. And remember, when you truly respect yourself, you'll never have to beg anyone to love you, notice you, or stay with you. You'll attract people who already see your worth because you've shown them how. So stand tall, be kind, be firm, make choices that honor your spirit. Never trade your self-respect for attention. It's not worth it. You deserve more. And when you believe that, others will too. Lesson 5. Be genuinely you. There is a calm kind of confidence that comes from being yourself, not the version others want, not the image you think they'll like, just the real, honest you. That's rare, that's powerful, and that's what stops you from chasing attention. People are often drawn to what is real. There's something magnetic about someone who isn't trying too hard, someone who is comfortable in their own skin, someone who isn't desperate to be liked. That kind of presence is rooted in truth. When you're genuine, you stop performing. You stop living two lives, one for yourself and one for others. You speak your truth even if your voice shakes. You share your thoughts without fear. You show up as you are. That's what it means to live with freedom. There's a deep lesson that teaches, wearing a mask may get you applause, but it will never give you peace. And peace is more valuable than popularity. Don't lose yourself trying to win people over. Don't become a stranger to yourself. Being yourself also brings the right people into your life. People who appreciate the real you. People who connect with your soul, not your image. That's the kind of connection that lasts. And yes, not everyone will like you. That's okay. Let them go. You're not here to please everyone, you're here to live your truth. When you stop adjusting yourself for every room you walk into, you'll find the rooms where you truly belong. Being genuine also means being honest about your flaws, owning your mistakes, not pretending to be perfect. That takes courage, but it builds trust with yourself and others. So let go of the need to impress. Let go of the fear of rejection. Stand in your truth. Be gentle, be real, be brave. That's where your power is. And when you live from that place, you'll never need to beg for attention again. Lesson 6. Make a positive impact. True attention comes not from being loud, but from being meaningful. When you focus on making a positive impact, you stop worrying about who's watching. You care more about what you're giving than how you're seen. That is real influence. That is what leaves a lasting mark. Every day, you have a choice. You can live for yourself alone, or you can live in a way that helps others breathe a little easier. Even the smallest action can lift someone's burden. A kind word, a gentle smile, a patient response. These are not small things. These are seeds of change. There is a beautiful teaching that says, "As rain falls equally on all, let your kindness fall equally without judgment." That means impact doesn't need a stage. You don't need an audience, you just need to show up with intention again and again. When you focus on being helpful, you create connections that matter. People remember how you made them feel. You don't have to shout for attention. You just have to serve from the heart. Quiet impact is often the deepest, and something beautiful happens when your life becomes about more than just yourself. You feel fulfilled. You stop seeking empty praise, you start seeking moments of meaning. The peace that follows this shift is powerful. It fills the space where insecurity used to live. Making an impact also builds self-trust. You begin to realize your power to change things, even in small ways. You start to believe in your ability to help, to support, to uplift. That belief becomes confidence, real, grounded confidence. So find ways to serve. Speak with kindness. Help where you can. Listen deeply. Lead by example. You don't need to be famous to be impactful. You just need to care. Live in a way that, even in silence, your presence makes others feel stronger. That's how you make a difference. That's how you gain real respect. When you focus on impact, attention becomes a side effect, not a need. Lesson 7. Don't be constantly available. It may sound strange, but always being available can actually push people away. It makes you seem too eager, too easy, too dependent. And when people sense that, they often take your presence for granted. Respect grows in space, in silence, in your ability to say "not now" with grace. Being constantly available is a form of begging. It says, "Please notice me." But your time is valuable. Your presence is powerful. You don't need to be at everyone's call to prove your worth. You don't need to respond immediately to every message or show up to every request. Sometimes stepping back is an act of strength. There is a quiet teaching that reminds us, attachment leads to suffering. When we're too attached to others' attention, we lose ourselves. We forget our own needs. We become anxious, restless, reactive. That's not love. That's not connection. That's fear. Pulling back a little doesn't make you rude. It makes you centered. It allows you to take care of your own energy. It helps you focus on what matters. And ironically, it makes people value your presence more. It also teaches others that you have a life of your own, that your joy doesn't depend on their approval, that you can be happy, even in solitude. That's attractive. That's strong. When you say no to constant availability, you say yes to healthy balance. You create boundaries. You protect your time, your peace, your space. And that teaches people how to respect you. Let others miss you sometimes. Let them wonder what you're up to, not out of manipulation, but out of mystery. Let your absence speak too. That's part of your presence. So don't be everywhere all the time. Be present where it matters. Be kind, but not desperate. Be giving, but not draining. Let your space be sacred. Let your time be chosen. That way, when you do show up, people know it matters. Lesson 8. Know your own worth. One of the most powerful things you can ever do is to know your own worth, not based on what others say, not based on how much attention you get, but based on your inner knowing, your truth, that unshakable understanding that you are enough as you are. When you know your worth, you stop chasing people. You stop asking for love that must be begged for. You stop bending just to be liked. You start standing tall, even if you stand alone. Because your value is not up for debate. There's a teaching that says, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. That means your worth isn't determined by others. It's determined by how you see yourself. When you begin to see yourself with clear eyes, you realize you were never lacking. You were just unaware. You also stop settling. You stop staying in places that drain you. You stop giving to those who only take. You protect your heart, not because it's weak, but because it's precious. That's what self-worth does. It teaches you to protect your energy. Knowing your worth doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you honest. You can still be humble, still be kind, still be open. But you no longer tolerate what disrespects your soul. You no longer apologize for your existence. You no longer dim your light to make others comfortable. It also means you begin to speak up. You begin to ask for what you need without fear. You set standards, not walls, but healthy lines that protect your peace. People may not always like it, but they will learn to respect it. So remind yourself daily, you are enough. You are worthy of love, respect, and peace. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are, deep down, unshaken, whole. When you know your worth, the need for attention fades. You become your own anchor. And that makes you unmovable in a world that often tries to shake you. Lesson 9. Set clear boundaries. Without boundaries, you lose yourself. You say yes when you mean no. You give when you're empty. You stay when you should walk away. All for the hope of being accepted. But this path always leads to pain. Boundaries are not walls. They are bridges to healthier relationships, deeper peace, and true freedom. A deep spiritual lesson teaches, compassion without wisdom can lead to suffering. This means, if you always give without protecting your own needs, you become depleted. Love turns to resentment. Kindness turns to burnout. That's why boundaries matter. They protect your heart while allowing you to stay open. Setting boundaries doesn't make you harsh. It makes you honest. You're telling the world, this is what I allow and this is what I will not. This is how I expect to be treated, and this is what I will walk away from. It may be uncomfortable at first. People might push back, especially those who benefited from your lack of limits. But stand firm. Boundaries are not about them. They're about you. They're about your healing, your peace, your truth. Boundaries also bring clarity. They reveal who truly respects you and who only uses you. They show you who is willing to grow with you and who only stayed because you never said no. This truth might hurt, but it sets you free. And when you start setting boundaries, something beautiful happens. You begin to trust yourself more. You start making decisions based on love for yourself, not fear of losing others. That's powerful. So speak your truth kindly. Say no when you must. Protect your time. Guard your energy. Walk away from chaos. Let peace be your standard. You don't need to explain every boundary, just be consistent. Be clear, be calm. When you live with strong boundaries, people can no longer walk over you. They meet you with respect, or they move on. Either way, you win. Because you've chosen to honor yourself. And that is the highest form of love. You don't need to beg for attention. You don't need to shrink yourself to be loved. You don't need to exhaust yourself trying to be seen. You only need to grow, to care, to live in truth. When you do that, everything changes. You attract the right people. You build a peaceful life. You stand in quiet strength. Let these lessons guide you. Let them remind you of who you are. And never again beg for the love, the respect, or the attention that you truly deserve.